What's up, everybody? Joined for this lovely Monday of Hard Money Bankers live edition. Joined with my partner, my newly married partner. No, other hand, newly married partner, Ryan Walsh, and Mr. Chuck. How you doing, man? Chuck, you there?
Doing great, man. How are you?
There he is. Yeah, good. So as everybody knows, we like to get different perspectives from around our marketplace, around the country, from people that do different things in our space. And a lot of people we have mutual contacts, but a lot of people have seen Chuck and in the real estate space and knows that he's got quite a presence in it. So Chuck, tell us about, give us your background. Let's start there. Chuck, you there?
My background is, Christ, how far back you want me to go?
As far as from where it starts to become entertaining.
I mean, before we dive in, let me tag. This is going to be a non-suitable for work stream.
What's up?
Because we got Chuck here.
Okay, all right. So it's an NSFW. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, when it starts to get entertaining. Okay.
Yeah, I'll do my best to not use the F word and keep it somewhat refined.
Sounds good.
Cool.
That's cool.
All right. Background, I got a degree in rehabilitative services with a concentration in biology. I wanted to be like Steve Irwin. I'm actually like a published research biologist as an assistant. I did almost 5 years in the Garment Center in Midtown Manhattan as a textile jobber, buying and selling fabric, which was exactly the same skill set that I use in real estate. And read a bunch of books, cowboyed up, quit my job, and found something that kind of resonates with my soul. So do a lot of creative nothing down transactions, and occasionally we use money too.
Nothing down world, man. That's an exotic world in what we do, right? Because I'm sure you've seen this. I don't really know your history, so in terms of what your transactions look like, but as well as I do that when people get into that and don't know what they're doing, there's a lot of appeal to it, and then you do like a rent to own or something, or a lease sandwich, and they don't realize where their numbers should have been, and then owners go upside down, or how to deal with the banks in between. So give us some perspective on that. Let me some of the things you see in that world specifically.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you to say that once again, just because it seems like your volume is really low, and apparently they're building a fucking skyscraper next to my office. But okay. You want my perspective on what your typical nothing down transaction?
Well, more just because, I'm very familiar with that world in the way that a lot of people get attracted to it and don't really know. They think no money down, so that means I'm going to not risk anything. When the reality is, there's real risk involved and there's real obligations involved to a rent to own scenario or something like that. Now, it doesn't mean it's not a very useful tool set if you know what you're doing. It means that most people, I think, are drawn to it for the wrong reasons initially. So I'm kind of looking for what your experience has been in seeing people deal with that.
I mean, it seems like a lot of people can't do it and they're just not committed to it. So they cop out and they go take out mortgages. And I mean, most of these real estate clubs and groups are run by lawyers and mortgage brokers to begin with. You got to look at where their motivation is coming from. I know in the beginning, if I had done some of these with mortgage, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now today. I mean, you get yelled at a lot. You see some horrible, horrible shit. If people want to sell, I don't even talk to them. I only deal with people who need to sell that are literally at the end of their rope, just done. And I mean, there is some commitment. It's incredibly emotionally draining, a lot. But we don't promise anybody anything except we're going to throw our heart and soul into these transactions. And a lot of times you're going to need continued cooperation with the seller. If you don't have that, then your transaction is going to go to shit anyway. And a lot of them will go to shit, I mean, good month, we're closing 60, 70, 80%, and a bad month could be 50 or less. And a lot of times that's just because the seller you're dealing with that you may need some documents to negotiate a short sale with has left the country or died, which I'm dealing with one of those right now. We're actually collecting, it's 5 different signatures from all over the country, one from Puerto Rico. And I mean, I enjoy it. It's fun. It's a challenge. I wouldn't do it if I didn't love it. And I kind of view myself as incredibly fortunate for finding it.
Has anything changed because of COVID at all? Are these deals harder, the same, or what are you seeing just because in the last 3 months?
I mean, I have a rental portfolio, and believe it or not, this month actually looks like it's going to be our worst month.
It's like June.
We're at about 65%. What?
June, of all the months, you're saying June's going to be the worst.
Yeah, June has been the worst for us so far. We're almost at about 65% of our rents collected. And I mean, I listened to a bunch of different people that I know on things like this. We're like, oh, we got 80%, we got 90%. And then later I get the phone call. Hey, dude, I need some fucking help. And I mean, it seems like since Governor Murphy said that you can use your security deposit as your rent, not everybody did it last month, but there's a lot of people that seem to be taking advantage of it this month. And also this month is the month where everybody who deferred their payments for 3 months, a lot of banks like Wells Fargo say you have to make them all up this month. So we're getting a lot of leads off passive marketing, and we've worked on helping a number of people actually do those deferments. And it looks like a lot of the banks want their pound of flesh this month. So this is what we've trained for.
Yeah, this is what I mean. That's so at 65. So that's the, take somebody who goes into these. What's that? What'd you say, Chuck? Chuck said something.
That's peanut butter.
Good peanut butter? Is it organic peanut butter?
No, you said, what's that? I said, that's peanut butter.
Oh. Is it organic peanut butter? Let's talk about the real questions. So what's the, by the way, I saw that picture.
No, it's like a generic.
It was like your girlfriend or something, or so you had a picture of somebody had some something going on behind their ear. I would recommend you look into the carnivore diet, and I'd recommend you look into Visbiome probiotics. I'm just saying. And I have a whole background. I could write you a message on it, but those things can go a long way. Anyways, besides that, as far as like the 65%, that's a really interesting thought that you have there, because I do, at some point there was going to be a breaking point in the economy in terms of like, it wasn't just we cannot get by this unscathed in the real estate industry. Like, you can't tell me that's going to happen. And I was wondering when that timing makes sense. And the reasons that you just mentioned make a whole lot of sense, which is, the deferments and meets the security deposits, et cetera. So like, and then you're not the only guy that is seeing that. There's no way. From what we do, I have not seen.
No, I'm probably just the only one who's not afraid to talk about it.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're the only one that's not afraid to see it. From what we do, I definitely saw immediately when this all happened. Like,
yeah, I'm proud of my 6%.
You proud of your what?
I'm proud of our 65% of rents collected.
Yeah, I was gonna say glass half full, glass half empty. How do you want to go with that, right? I think that means next month though, because people still have to go back to work. So like, it's not like they all of a sudden magically have money, right? So they still have to go back to work, get the money. So that's not really gonna, next month could be equally, of equal issue. And I'm waiting to hear. I've been waiting to hear people talk about it, because you're right. Like, everybody's not sitting here at 90% collection rate, and maybe the first month they had that, but not now. Everybody's the stimulus checks. I'm sure people burn through all theirs, right? Everybody's burned through it. So. Yeah, how are you guys stomaching that? Like, were you prepared for it in any way, shape, or form?
Prepared for it? We've been like fucking praying for it, dude. I mean, this is
reason?
not my first rodeo. We've been doing this since like 2004. And when the economy is good, think about who loses their house when the economy is good. You're dealing with some pretty horrible people. You're dealing with junkies and crackheads and wife beaters and child molesters and people that just want to leave the country in a hurry. But when the economy takes shit, I mean, that's everybody. Now I'm buying houses from doctors and lawyers and people that have different IPO startups. And I just learned like the other day that embarrassment is actually a financial term. Did you guys Google this shit? I got people like writing it into purchase and sales agreements that don't disclose what's going on with them because they can be embarrassed. And I was like, you're worried about people knowing you have financial problems? The guy's like, yeah, I'm the fucking CEO of this like internet startup, and I can't let them know that I'm losing one of my 3 homes.
I've never heard of that built into a contract.
So it's been really interesting. And I mean, I've actually had, it's like the mortgage meltdown, but it seems to be affecting more people on a broader scale. So, I mean, there's no way this is not going to be the 7-figure year for us, and after this hiccup, and I just kind of hope it keeps getting worse.
So your lead flow is way up right now. Your lead flow in general.
Our lead flow in general is way up, and I mean, plus we train a lot of people to do this stuff, and it's not for everybody. It's either you do it or you don't. And if they bring us a deal, you know, a lot of times I'll walk them through it, make them do a lot of the legwork. We'll use my team for stuff, and I'll keep 50% of the deal. And I got people out there talking to distressed sellers. Like my schedule's packed. I'll probably be here till 9, 10 o'clock tonight if I'm lucky. And I mean, it's really working out. I'm happy with it. We're just putting it out there into the universe. It's coming back, and I expect the rest of the summer, like just the bottom to fall out of the market. Now, it may not. I don't know. I've got a lot of these realtors telling me the market's strong. Our properties are still selling for like top dollar. We just picked one up in Elizabeth for $2.25, and my buddy Sam sold it for $350 asking price in 2 weeks.
Jeez. So that's yeah.
It seems like a lot of your buyers, so people with like W-2s and pay stubs that are essential workers. I got one closing this week in Patterson. The fireman's buying it from us, so they're not laying them off.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of the like you're right. Like I've seen the same thing. I'm actually think I'm seeing prices starting to go up right now, and I'm like, how is that possible right now? I don't. It doesn't make sense. If you survive, you know, if you, like you said, you're doing it since 2004, which means you saw 2008, which means like it you can't, like, it's like a nick. Like this is like you're shaving yourself and you caught like a little cut and then you just shave the rest of your face and no big deal. Nobody get, you know, this wasn't like, you know, you hit the jugular and yet. So I'm not convinced. I don't know. There's a lot of backwards things, but until then, yeah, you're going to have to make money on both sides, whether you're picking things up like you did at $2.25 and reselling at $350, or you're getting rent to own leads. You got to be right, like you're doing now, be prepared. What do you see in regards to like, what's your main method of like marketing right now? Is it just word of mouth? You guys do mailers? What are you guys doing?
I mean, word of mouth is like always been huge. I mean, I stopped teaching people, it was like summer 2011, and I don't know if people really realize like how powerful that could be. I still have a contact list of like 52 or 53,000 people that we've whittled down to like 42 or 43 once we got rid of all the junk that paid to listen to me speak in the tri-state area. I mean, you guys work with Carrie. She was managing it. Now we got Salesforce. We've got a thing. So we just remind those people that we're out here, and when you're stuck, call Chuck. And I mean, that works. Plus, we just bought a couple more cars we're going to wrap. Those always work. Sometimes they work too well. You know, you don't want to like give one to your mom to take to the grocery store because somebody will be sitting on the car when you come back out like scratching, going, "Oh my God, I got a house to sell. Give me $5 now." We got postcards. We got people. We've actually played around with T-shirts. If you guys want to do a little joint venture, maybe we could throw a logo on the back of your T-shirts and pay for them.
Gotcha.
Bankers. Oh yeah, and we buy houses too, and a phone number. Anything works. You just got to keep doing it.
That's right. That's exactly right, man. It's always anything works. Like people always ask, Tom says, the Chuck, he's the man. So yeah, everything works. Everybody always asks about marketing. I'm like, there is no, unfortunately or unfortunately, there is no magic. Just do it. Just do a lot of it. And that's do it consistently. And you know, something will come back. You will get phone calls, you know, pretty much through any method. I don't know anything that doesn't, you know, that I've never like gotten one phone call, or I've never had anything either that was so magical. I was like, this is something I got to keep secret. It's like everything everybody else is doing. You just keep doing it. Right. I mean, that's the deal.
We got one of these tech programs too, where like actually we take a list pendants list and we skip trace it. Then we've got like 10 phone numbers on this thing called Lead Sherpa, and we pay somebody in the office just to get into conversations with people. And nobody thinks it works because the first text is, "I want to buy your house." So we got an intern that just goes, "Hey, how's it going?" And they text you back, "Who is this?" You know, it's AJ. AJ who? Before you know it, you're talking, and I got them on the phone, and their job is just to get me or Linton or somebody else here in front of them. And much like dating, I mean, Christ, once I'm in front of them, you don't stand a fucking chance. Things get close.
Yeah, that's and that's good, man. I mean, that's what I always talk to people. Like one of the greatest. I was just talking to my uncle over the weekend about this. That like one of the best. We're all in the business of selling and marketing. I don't care what your job is. You're in the business of selling and marketing. I don't care if you're lending. I don't care if you're doing rent to own. I don't care if you're in a totally different industry. So like if you're good at closing, no matter what it is, like that skill set is really what, if you can market and get the phone to ring and then you're a good closer, you're going to do well with the transactions in your business. And then if you have a good product in the back end, meaning like a good way to service it, you therefore then have a business, right? It's that straightforward and simple. If you don't have the ability to close or sell, you're in trouble. Like this, unfortunately, it doesn't sell itself, right? Even money that I sell doesn't sell itself. So, it's one of those things. But so where do you see this going right now? Like, where do you guys want to go with the next 6 months of this? Obviously, you'd like for the market to fall out because it's continuing for you. But,
where do I see the market going in the next 6 months?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping down. I mean, I don't see how it could not, I mean, it does seem like people are pulling their money out of the stock market like crazy. I don't know if you guys have seen that. I think do people offer you money like crazy lately?
So they did in the first 2 months.
Or is that not
and
happening?
then in the first 2 months, yes. And then right now there's just been like, I haven't heard one way or the other. I believe if it's still existing, but in the first 2 months, it was definitely like the, I can't trust stocks, take my money kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of that. I mean, we've seen so much of that we actually built the hedge fund that goes live. It should be this week. And we've actually started taking people's money. And when we don't have it deployed in a transaction, we've got a relationship with ING Bank where we do market making for cryptocurrency. So we're giving our investors like 10%. And I mean, I'm just learning about how all this stuff works. One of my guys has a degree in accounting, and we've got some kid over here whose dad actually was like the cyber architect on Venmo. So
Okay.
he's got like this gift, and we actually loan the money to the bank, and it makes the spread on transactions. So we're not actually investing in the cryptocurrency. We make like on a good month, 1% a day, and on a bad month, at least 5 to 10%. We take care of our expenses. We pay our investors first. They set up an online portal you can log into, and that's where it sits, so we don't have to constantly borrow money and give it back, borrow money and give it back. And then when
They're collecting the arbitrage on the spread.
I can just check from this thing, and yeah, I mean, this is like why you want to be rich, right? So you can be sophisticated and accredited, and you can invest in the shit that most people can't, and that's what most people don't get. It's probably the first time I've ever said anything about this publicly, but fuck, this is why we're on top, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. I get it. I mean, I'm familiar with arbitrage. I'm familiar with market making. I don't know which market you guys are dabbling in, but yeah, it's like a
might be a cool offline.
Yeah, gotcha. That's fair. So yeah, I think this is good. This is good to know. I wasn't sure, Chuck, exactly. I knew you were in real estate. I wasn't quite sure exactly what you did. Now I have a very clear vision of it. I think it's good. What would you want to leave people with right now? Like whether, let's say, take like people that are new getting in, because you deal with people that you're either, they come to you or bring you deals. What would your best piece of advice for somebody new and getting into it be?
I mean, my best piece of advice would be like, don't stop. And when you're stuck, call Chuck or just message us. I absolutely love these train wreck deals that people walk away from. And, it's kind of fun when everybody's just saying this is garbage, and then you can pull $100,000 plus out of it by helping somebody file bankruptcy and not doing an offer in compromise and discharging their IRS tax liens, or probating a will, or using a bounty hunter to hunt somebody down in the world that they didn't think they could find. And there's notaries in the U.S. Embassy, even in Egypt.
Oh, I know.
It's like being a spy. I enjoy it.
It's like being a real estate spy. I like it. You can make that your next video. So, right, you got anything else for Chuck? I'd like Chuck to give his contact information.
So we got Kimberly, Tom, and Sean. Thanks for your comments. You just email me here, Ryan at Hard Money Bankers, your address and T-shirt size, and we will send you a T-shirt. And then Chuck, how can people reach you, get in touch with you, and yeah.
Yeah, and I'm totally serious about the possibility of advertising on the back of your T-shirts too. So if you guys,
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. I get. Yeah.
Ian, I don't actually have your number. I only have Ryan's. If you guys could text me together, let's make some shit work, dude. And how's my credit with you guys? Still good?
Oh yeah, Chuck, you're still clear, still approved. So you just let us know when you're ready to go. But Chuck, how can people? You want them to call you? You want them to email you? What do you want?
Hit me up on Facebook. You can find me on YouTube. Maybe we can attach the link. You know, the thing's growing like crazy. I think we hacked that too. We got something like 3,000, getting close to 4,000 followers, and by the end of this week, we'll be paid YouTubers. So that's cool.
Nice.
Probably Facebook or YouTube is the best.
All right, sounds good. Yeah,
Me,
I'll get that info from you.
Else does.
We'll put it in the video for you.
Sounds good. Appreciate it, Chuck.
All right,
All right,
guys.
man. All right, take
You got
care.
it, man. Take care, everyone.
Appreciate you too.